Yo, it's Trent. Hope everyone's having a good day, good weekend so far. Super Bowl tonight. Gotta love that. But we got extremely hungover with family. And I felt like with this story, this will connect with a lot of people, right? Because sometimes stories I tell are a little wild. It's like, man, who's gonna connect to that? But this, I know a lot of people have been through this scenario. So I have like two or three, maybe four stories. I have a couple stories. So let's get to it, right? The first one I'm talking about was the most awkward for me, right? Because there's a difference between being hungover around like family you see all the time, like whether it's a cousin you see, more than like what, 5, 6 times a year, like someone you see often, there's a difference between that and then family you see like once a year, if that, right? And that's why it was so awkward because the people we were going to see, I had only met them one time before when I was a little kid, right? I met them when I was like 10 years old, and the only thing we talked about or they knew about me is that I played sports, right? So fast forward like what, 6, 7 years later, because this is a couple years ago. I'm 20 now, almost 21, but back then, you get what I'm saying? So I'm like 16, 17, and the night before this big family event that I had no idea we were going to, like people talked about it, but I always assumed that because I never had to go the previous like 10 years, why would I have to go now? I went once when I was younger. I just didn't see myself going again, right? And like the family was like my grandma's like cousins. Like it was weird. You get what I'm saying? Like it was, or it wasn't weird, but it wasn't, it was nobody that I would like normally know or like should have known. You get what I'm saying? And so the night before, though, I was with friends because I didn't think I had to go. And let's just say we went on a Saturday, right? Like a 3 hour drive. The night before, we're drinking heavy. And that's back when I drink heavier stuff mixed with like wine, not mixed together, but like I would take shots with friends. I don't know, not a lot though, because even when I did take shots, I was still a lightweight. So, and we never took them out of the shot glasses. It was always just drinking out of the bottle. So I probably took like 2, 3 shots, right? But then I could always get down a bottle of wine back then. Like me and my friend would share one and we'd either finish it or like I could drink like 3/4 or all of it. Not good, but just what it was, right? So I did that, had a great night, but the thing with me drinking, even if I just drink a little bit, I get hungover hard, right? But when you drink really hard, of course you're gonna get hungover hard. So it hit me like killed me, right? And I wake up to my friends having to leave, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll just sleep the rest of the day. And then I can't remember if it was my grandma, my grandpa, my mom who came in, but someone came in and informed me that, hey, you have to come with, right? So that was a challenge. I remember when we left to go to this town that was like 4 hours away, right? Or maybe it's a city, I don't know. But no, it was a town. 4 hours away, right? I'm sitting in the back of this car. We just got Subway when we left, right? I couldn't even take a bite of the sandwich until like maybe 30 minutes before we got there. Like I felt so shitty that I couldn't even like lift my head up. I remember I was laying against the window and we were driving through a lot of like fields and farms and like the countryside, so all I'm looking at is barns and like cows and stuff, and I was so disgusted. Like I felt so nasty, right? And then we pull up at not really a stoplight, but it was like I think it was just a stop sign, but since it was the middle of nowhere, I guess cars accumulated. I don't know. It was weird, right? It was like a four-way stop sign. There was like four cars at each end, but up until this point, there was like no one on the road. And as we were sitting there, it felt like I was about to puke, right? So I informed the people in the car, like, hey, we may need to pull over for a second, right? And I'm feeling it. So I'm like, okay, pull over, right? They pull over, I get out of the car, nothing happens. And that's a horrible feeling, right? Like, if you're gonna stop the car to puke, you might as well make it happen, right? So I'm standing there, and I'm not gonna lie, I stuck my finger down my throat, because, like I was saying, they're already stopping for me to puke, and they don't know that I was just drinking heavy, So I'm thinking, this is my chance to get it out before, they're like, are you okay? Do you need to go to the doctor? You get what I'm saying? So I'm trying to gag myself, throw up, nothing works, right? I'm just nauseous, I feel horrible. I knew I needed to puke, but it wasn't coming, right? So I get back in the car, we go up there, right? And you wanna know what made me finally puke? When we walked inside, all the food they had made, the smell, which you would think it would be good, usually it is, and it probably was good, but I smelt it and I was like, oh no, like this will be the end of me, right? And I looked around for like a water or just something I could sip on, whether it's a Sprite, water, anything that'll get me not nauseous, right? When really, I should have just accepted throwing up. But I looked down at this cupcake, and for some reason, smelling all this, like, beef stuff and, like, it was just a lot of meat, right? And then I was looking at the cupcake, smelling the meat. For some reason, that made me puke real bad. I went outside, just littered this lady's garden with just chunks of alcohol, nasty, right? And then the next story, I've told this one before, but this is a classic. I still talk to my cousin about this story at least like once a month. On Easter, right? The night before Easter, me and my cousin, who's like 4 or 5 years older than me, we both drank red wine. Like, we each took a bottle because we were both staying at my grandma's house at the time, right? And she just had a shit ton of wine. She had like cases on cases on cases. You know what I'm saying? Like, she just had a favorite kind, and she would get it, and people would get it for her. It was just her favorite, right? We stole a bottle each and drank it the night before Easter. The next morning, we get sent out at like 10 a.m., maybe 11, to go get stuff like for the breakfast, or I don't know. We just had to go get stuff that our grandma forgot, right? And we had to go get it because she let us sleep in. So I'm extremely hungover, and I like the whole time we're driving, I have my face against the window, you know, with the coldness, and I'm just like, and it's Easter, so it's like, it's not very warm, like, it's not cold, but it's not warm out, you get what I'm saying? It's like 40s, maybe 50s. We get back to the house after buying stuff, and my cousin was like, there's no way you can go, like, there's no way you can be at Easter lunch or dinner or whatever looking like that. Like, you need to do something about it, right? So I'm like, okay, I think I can throw up, because I felt so disgusting, right? Like, and wine's a different feeling. For me, at least, like, it just made me always feel heavier. Like, I don't know, like, I was always just being weighed down, right? So I go outside, and this is still the most incredible drinking thing that's ever happened to me, or one of them, right? Because I didn't throw up, but I completely healed myself with a single gag, right? Like, it was the loudest, nastiest, most disruptive gag you've ever heard, right? Like, I bent over, fully expecting just red liquid to come pouring out, right? And I just was like, like, horribly, right? And I just stood there for a second. I remember I gagged so hard that it, like, shook my system. I was like, oh, man, right? And when I was like, and then it was just gone. My stomach didn't hurt. My mouth wasn't, like, wet with nausea. Like, I was completely fine. Like, there was nothing wrong, right? But this last one, definitely the most embarrassing, but it's a good story now, right? Since it happened so long ago. But I go over to, again, this one wasn't as weird as the first story. It wasn't like my grandma's cousins, but it was my grandma's sister, so like my great aunt, and I see her like once or twice a year, right? And I see her on Facebook all the time, always posting on Facebook. So, you know, that one isn't as weird, but of course I don't want to be like not sober when I see them. I'd rather just be sober, feeling fine. Again, didn't know I was seeing them, but this time actually we didn't have to drive up there. They came to us, so that's a little better. But again, the night before we were drinking I remember we were drinking beers this time, not like regular beers. I've never liked those, but like the girly drinks, you know, like White Claws, Trulies, things like that. So drink a few of those. And in the morning, I actually had to drive my friends home, which was fine. I felt like shit, but like something about being alone and feeling like shit is a lot better than being with people and feeling like shit. You get what I mean? So on the way back, I stopped at McDonald's. I'm like, well, I should try to eat something or at least drink something, right? So I get an orange juice and one of those like pancake breakfast things, you know? Pancakes comes with a little sausage thing. So I looked at the sausage. I'm like, usually, yes, but no way I can eat that now. Like, that'll be the end of me, right? And I'm eating these pancakes, and I get informed that, like, hey, people are going to be here soon. We're going to have breakfast. We need you to join us for breakfast, you know? And I'm like, God, that is the worst thing I could possibly do. Like, there's worse, but I do not want to go to breakfast when I just forced myself to eat so I wouldn't throw up, you know? So I get there, and man, I don't know whose idea it was to not wait even like 10 minutes, but while we're eating, someone brings up the idea, hey, we should golf, you know, because the house we were at, they had a little golf course in the backyard. It's like 4 or 5 holes. It's nice, you know, it's a backyard, so you can't just nail it, but it's fun for like accuracy and with friends, you know. So someone says, we should play golf, and it's a lot of older family members and then me, right? And we all just ate, and I barely ate. I was just forcing down as much as I could, right? We get into playing golf, and I'm just standing on this hill, and the sun's beaming down at me. It's like not even 1 p.m. and everybody has drinks like beers and stuff. And I caught a whiff of this, like, it was just, I mean, all beers pretty much smell the same, but it was just like a Coors or Coors Light or PBR, I don't even know, right? But I just got that whiff of beer smell, while like stomach full hungover, killed me completely. I went over to this big old pine tree that from the tree you could see the road, right? So everybody on the road driving by could see me, right? And I just leaned over and puked for a good 2 minutes. Like, it was a long one, it was rough. And then, I almost forgot. Before I finish the story, I'll just throw this one in there since we're almost done. I went to the mall with like 10 family members, and the night before, I wasn't hungover, but I threw up after eating 8 donuts. You know those Enterman donuts that come in those really long packages, and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, I thought my friends were eating them too, but they weren't, and I was just munching them while stoned one night. I ate all 8, threw up tremendously, like chocolate coming out of my nose, chocolate coming out of my mouth. It was disgusting, right? For the next 2 days, I tasted chocolate cake or chocolate donuts in my nose, right? But I was at this mall, extremely feeling sick, I just still felt like I had donut in me after throwing up so much. And the only thing I could smell as we walked around was either Auntie Anne's, like cinnamon, they always have those pretzels and stuff in the mall. So I was either smelling that or catching the whiff of the old donuts. It was horrible. It was horrible. But that's why I don't drink, it never goes good for me. So that's why I just smoke and chill out. But alright, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you sub, share, like, comment, check out my other videos, and be safe. If you ever want to hit me up, I'm always around. My Instagram's in the bio thing, so you can always hit me up. But be safe. Go Niners or go Chiefs. I don't really care. I just want my bets to hit, and peace out.